Hi, everybody. I'm Carlos Alazraqui, the voice of Rocko from Rocko's Modern Life, and you're watching Tuned In with Jim Cummings.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Today, we have a very special guest. You know him as Rocko from Rocko's Modern Life. You know him from Reno 911 and a plethora of other things. Carlos Alazraqui, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, glad to see your face in the place. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while, and this is a great reason to get together.
Yeah, it is. And in a while, meaning we'd never get a chance to sit down and talk. I'll see you at a con. You'll have a huge line. I'll go, hey, Jim.
Yeah,
and that'll be it. So it's nice.
Yeah, it is. And you've got such a plethora of critters to fall back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, who would you say is like, when you're at a con, and there's 100 people waiting, how many have this character? How many have that character?
The seminal voice, right? It comes down to like 4, and one's live action, which is Reno 911, which is Garcia. But Rocko will always take the cake in terms of the most popular one. Mm-hmm. Spyro the Dragon, the OG, watch out for Nasty Nork, is like number 2. Number 2, and then he and Mr. Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents. Mm-hmm. Timmy Turner Fairies. They're all kind of botched into like the Olympics, like 1/100th of a second apart for second, third, and fourth. Cool. But Rocko is number 1.
Well, that's good. That's nice.
Rocko is nearest and dearest.
Yes.
My very first voice, launching me into the voiceover world, and eventually getting to work with you.
So I got to credit Rocko for that.
No, thank you,
people
Rocko.
Love Rocko.
Wherever you are out there in the universe. Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome, man. That is great.
Yeah.
And you've got, we'll get a chance to talk about it later, but if there's anything we should know about upcoming, make a note of that, and we'll pound them over the head with it.
I have a mental note in my head. Could fade, but it's there now.
Yeah, good. You had the Fairly Odd Parents, the dreaded, but one of my favorites is in... And I remember you describing Winslow on Cat Dog. And it was just perfect because it was so organic. He goes, what are you doing, Cat Dog? Yeah, I'm asking that because I'm a prick, okay? What are you going to do? I'm designated prick of the show.
Is that what I said? I'm a designated prick. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, that was the laugh.
He always delighted in the failings of Cat Dog.
Yes.
Whatever endeavors they had, he was there to screw it up.
Hey, too bad you can't go outside. Now you're stuck.
Yeah.
What are you, nuts?
That was his catchphrase.
And it was the laugh that was like the final middle finger.
Yeah, it was so derisive.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Cat Dog. In jail.
Yeah.
So mean and such a fun character to play because it came after Spyro and Rocko, who were kind of sweet.
Rocko is very nice and kind.
Yeah.
And hello.
Rocko's a nice guy.
And Winslow is the opposite. And so
what a nice
joy to be playing that character, to watch you and Tom work, and then Billy West come in, and Dwight Schultz and Maria Bamford. We were talking before we started today.
Yeah.
What a great introduction into learning the craft, because I was still pretty green at that point. You know?
Oh, yeah?
So watching you guys, watching Jim work, you work, and watching Tom work together, I was just, okay, I'm just soaking this up. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, that's a joyful character. Winslow, there's a few diehard Winslow fans at the con. And as it turns, you can't bring all your characters to a con. And invariably somebody will go, did you bring such and such a character? And you're like, no, there's never really much call for it. But thank you for liking that character.
But thank you for knowing.
Yeah. So Winslow's one of those hidden gems. That and Ricochet from Mucha Lucha. But because family honor, tradition, donuts. But if you like Winslow, there's a sick and twisted part of you that I think is lovely. I hug those fans, man.
Yes,
bless you, child.
Yes,
go and buy that goose hanging in the window.
You've got your assignments now. Everybody out there, come see him at the next one. And harass you with Winslow.
With Winslow.
Always happy to do a Winslow.
I have a question for you. Yeah. So how did voiceover come to being for you? Was it just another audition, or was it something you were pushing for?
That's an excellent question. I always go back to the origin of why it happened. And Jim, because of his musical background, for me, it was growing up with parents from South America. My dad was British educated, so I'm going way back in Argentina. Speaks perfectly. My mom, Carlos no me digas, a stop sign. My best friend's parents, Kevin, they were from Glasgow, Scotland. So if I wasn't out my house listening to Carlitos, you have to pick up the garbage, I was saying, Kevin, you and Carlos, you need to get outside. You're spending all the time in front of the television. So, and Auntie Liz who talk like that, and Uncle Danny, who is the only one in the family who wasn't Celtic United. So between my parents and my friends' parents, as you know, we're vocal musicians. I'm soaking it up.
Yeah, yeah.
How does he make that face? How does the sound? You know, John's upper lip never moved when he spoke, and so we took it in visually.
Keep a stiff upper lip. Is that where that comes from?
Upper lip. That's right. And so that is the origin. But I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'm in Sacramento. A woman named Tracy Forrester is my manager. She says there's a project called Rocko's Modern Life, created by Joe Murray, a San Jose Mercury cartoon panelist. And the producer is a guy named Mark McNamara at San Francisco State, and they're holding open auditions. This is in 91. I don't have an agent. I'm doing stand-up comedy. I've always done characters because of my background. And I literally had a push-play record thing, and I just made a tape in the kitchen of a comedy condo in Sacramento.
Oh, boy.
And it was something like, hey, Clyde, the old janitor from school, hey, you boys, stop throwing up in the hallway. That was my child that was throwing up. You gotta be kidding me. I'm not gonna clean this up. You know, all that. And it was just terrible.
Yeah.
But it got me in the room.
That sounded pretty good to me.
Thank you. It got me in the room with George Maestri, Nick Jennings, and Joe Murray. And this was the mandate, as you know, this happens quite a bit in voiceover. We don't want X, so we don't want Australian.
Right.
We do not want Australian. So they wanted Woody Allen.
Wallaby, I got a pouch.
They wanted Bruno Kirby.
No hablo inglés. Yeah, I wear a purple shirt.
And none of it was working. And as I recall, I picked up a vacuum manual and I saw the artwork. As you know, when you get the artwork, that's a big advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
Long nose, kind of jowly with teeth sticking out this big eyes.
Yeah, that's
And
how-
I just
that
went,
helps.
when you're cleaning your unit, make sure it is unplugged to avoid electrical shock.
And they're like, that sounds kind of good.
Wow.
And so I did it.
It makes sense. I unplugged my unit
Always unplug your unit.
before
and wash.
Before washing.
Before washing. And so, yeah, so that's how it happened. I got Rocko with no agent. They liked the voice. We made a pilot. And Tom Kenny will tell you the story. Tom and I were still very green. Tom has given me credit, but I suggested Tom for Heifer because I couldn't find Heifer. And of course, Tom's brilliant. All I had to do was the beach is that way.
Yeah, right.
And so we get it, and we think we got Rocko and all the executives are there, and Charlie Adler's in there already recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And pages are flying off.
That was him in his sleep.
In his sleep, and Tom and I are like, jaws are like, we're not ready. So we were so green. Charlie was blowing it out of the water, and it took about a full season to feel comfortable. But long-winded answer, it was born out of stand-up comedy and that Rocko audition. Just right place, right voice, right time. The
Boy.
mistake is thinking that it'll always be that easy.
Yes, every time, every time. Yeah. Well, I had a similar story to that. The first audition I did, I got the job, but they used the audition, and so and it was the worst thing that could have happened to me, because you say, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
They used the audition. What? And then my agent, Sandy Starr, said, okay, that's never happened. That is the only time that's ever happened.
Yep.
It will never happen to you again. And she was right.
Consequently, she was right.
Damn it,
you
she
might
was-
get grandfathered into projects because they know how good you are. But if it's a new project, you're right. It's so rarely. I don't think it does happen again.
But it was only for a toy fair, so I don't think it really mattered all that much. Yes, I'll take the $150, whatever it was, sure.
Sure.
And so I said, okay, I'm going to do this forever.
Yeah.
Till they tell me I'm not allowed anymore.
But you had it in you, and you got the opportunity, and you did it. And some people shy away. Actually, before Rocko, I came into audition for when Chris Falusi left. Spunko was on Melrose. It was this tiny little building, and I went up to the second floor, and I was behind the glass, and they were having me do Steampy. You idiot, you worm. Billy was always solid with Ren, and I was just too green, and I was not ready. Rocko, I was ready because it wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, this is not going to work because they don't want Australians, so I may as well do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, they don't know what they want until they hear it.
Yeah. Baker tells one of the best stories. Dee is an accomplished genius. And for American Dad, they said, we want a French fish in the bowl. We only want French. And Dee says to them, as I heard it from him, I'm not going to give you less than my best. And French is not my best. I'm going to give you German. And he booked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
that's
bold. Bold move. I love it.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I never
Doesn't
heard
always
that
work.
one before. Yeah, it doesn't always work. Yeah, right.
But that's how it happened for him. But yeah, I lucked into it. I did have that capability of doing characters and voices and dialects. But as we will tell all our young people out there, you have to learn to act. And going to school on Rocko, going to school on Cat Dog, watching Jim and Tom and Dwight Schultz. I was like, I'm like, okay, now I'm learning. Just Harnell, people like that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Tara Strong, Gray DeLisles are like.
Yeah, Rob was in there somewhere.
Yeah, Rob Paulson, the cast of Fairly Odd Parents with Darren Norson, Suzanne Blakesley, and I'm just like, whoa, these guys are really good. I better keep up.
Yeah.
They throw you in the deep end. Yeah.
Yeah, dive in, man. Start swimming.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that at the beginning because you're just so intimidated by everybody.
Yeah.
And you have to be free to be a jerk, to fall down.
It's
I've put it that way before, and I think it's true. Don't be afraid to make an idiot of yourself.
Yeah, and I took all these workshops too. I had Rocko in the bag, and I got the agent that I wanted that fit at the time, and said, "Yeah, this is the agent I want." And I got my calling card. But I still went to workshops, and I met all the directors, the Colette Sundermans and the Zimmermans and Donna Grillo. I just took all their workshops because I wanted to meet them and I wanted to learn, and so I didn't take it for granted that I had something, and that really helped. And then Charlie Adler, I took one of his things, and he was the first guy that just like, oh, give me a gun, be a fucking pussy, just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
I go, yeah. And he gave you permission to be anything. Don't be afraid, as you say, to just be wrong.
And well, that one character of his, the cow, with the blazing nip eye.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even think of the name of it.
Carrot chicken, something like
Cow-
that.
Is that it? Yeah.
Carrot chicken.
I forgot the name, yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to look at.
Yeah, he's unabashed, and you needed people like that, and you and Billy with the same approach and the polished. You got to keep up. If I'm on Cat Dog, I got to keep up.
Yeah.
Got to keep up.
Well, that's great. That's great. So what's keeping you busiest these days? Work for me is slowed down.
Really?
But conventions are cranking away.
Conversely, for me, convention's not as strong. I have a few, but Nickelodeon seems to keep feeding me. Rock, Paper, Scissors is doing fairly well. I hopefully get another season of that. I play Scissors with Ron Funches and Tom Lennon. And Scissors is just kind of like an angrier version of me. It's not fair. The Rat Brothers get everything. So that's kind of a challenge. I'm sure you do a lot of voices that are similar to your own. You can't hide behind the broadness of a Mr. Crocker, Jimmy Turner is always at 11. It's like, it's kind of got to be you and subtle.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate it too.
Yeah, they go, no, just give me you. And I go, oh, shit. Which
boring.
me? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't
Positive.
like me.
Yeah.
How could you like me? I don't like me.
Yeah.
So Rock, Paper, Scissors. I just did some Dora, the new Fairly Odd Parents. I play Mr. Guzman. Hazel, I have a surprise for you in the class. I wanted to talk to you about this voice because I've mentioned you. I'm working on, hopefully it'll continue during COVID, Exploding Kittens. And one of the characters...
Exploding Kittens.
Yes.
Exploding Kittens.
On Netflix. It's
Everyone's
fun.
favorite.
Everyone's favorite, based on the game.
Oh, God. Wait.
I play her
That's a game?
It's a game,
Like a board game?
that was turned into a show.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Really?
It's very well written, actually.
He must have hated that kitten.
They must have hated that kitten.
Ooh. Well, okay.
So, in an homage to your part of the world where you grew up, they needed a character called Shorgle, who is an animatronic rat that works in this old arcade. It's all beat up, but has a sort of a bayou. And I said, well, Jim's character in Princess and the Frog is just, you can't top that. No. But I do know a football coach named Ed Orgeron who coaches LSU. Have you ever seen Ed? If you haven't,
he talks like this. We knew we was going to win that game. We started off Monday knowing we was going to win that game today. Go Tigers.
And I gave that voice to them, and they're going, nah, it's not going to work. It's too broad. I go, it's a real guy.
But
Y'all can look him up. LSU, former LSU and USC for a year football coach.
Ed Orgeron, and he has a whole thing that's Go Tigers.
Because he would always end it like that.
Go Tigers.
Joe Burrow is doing well tonight. Our defense is not tackling. We got to be more creative on offense, and we'll see how we do in halftime.
And what else, Ed?
Oh, yeah. Go Tigers.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking. I use that as a reference, and
that's funny.
that's been a fun voice to do for Exploding Kittens and Grimsburg here and there. Tom Kenny keeps me employed with Patrick Starr and SpongeBob and formerly
there you
Camp
go.
Coral. So I'm lucky that Nickelodeon is still sort of my bedroom, as it were, for voiceover
nothing
work.
wrong with that.
Yeah, so I keep busy, and
That's a beautiful
I just
thing.
did a Panchito, House of Mouse.
along with Rob Paulson.
yes,
who
yes.
plays Jose, and I play the classic version of Panchito.
It's a pleasure to see you, Donald. Which, if you're listening, I do all the sound alike for Billy Crystal and Monsters, Inc. It's the same thing, just with an accent, right? We have ways we can cheat. Panchito, it's a pleasure to see you, Donald. It's a pleasure to see you, Sully.
It's
Oh
all
boy,
right there.
that was pure Billy Crystal.
Yeah, it's
That is great.
hundreds of
I would
hours.
have never busted you on that in 100 years.
You know who told me I could do it, and this has probably
Billy
happened
Crystal.
to you.
No, he said, don't do it, kid. I'm at the Clippers game.
Brian Monroe from Disney. Bill Monroe from Disney Character Voices.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said, "Listen, we're having a sound like audition for Mike Wazowski, and I think you should audition." I go, "I can't do Billy Crystal." He goes, "No, you are a tenor, whatever that means. You're right in the range."
Yeah,
And so
okay.
I got the movie Forget About Paris, television with the old built-in VHS, and I'd rewind, forward, rewind.
We know, yes, I know I'm not supposed to tell you everything on a first date, but can you hit an occasional highlight or two? Like, yeah, I'm all alone. I got 4 brothers with bad ears, and oh yeah, I'm married. So I watched that over and over and over again.
Oh, God.
And then my first job doing that was in 2001. I still do all the sound like stuff. But after hundreds of hours of doing a sound like, you started to get it and learn all the tricks and get all the Bronxisms in there.
And the high Billy Crystal, you know what we are, my one eye, versus, you know, Roz, one of these days.
Yeah,
drop
yeah.
down, and he provides
The
such
whole
a
dynamic
beautiful
range.
He provides such a beautiful template. And our job when we do sound alikes is to come as close as we can to it, but it doesn't happen if he doesn't provide that template. It's such a rich character.
Yeah, boy, that's for sure.
But some we hit and some were way off. You know, we've all been asked to audition for certain things. Like, man, I got that in my range. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
There's the Jim Meskamans of the world.
Oh, right.
The Bauzo with all his Warner Brothers. The Jeff Bergmans.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
guys can nail those things. But
That was one that, hey, Monroe was right. It was right there. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time, Jim, where you've been asked to audition and it was just, I don't think that's within my range, or you were just uncomfortable doing it?
Yeah, well, there were one or two, and yes, it was for Tailspin, Disney Afternoon. It's with King Louie was back, Baloo the bear was back, and then there were a bunch of new characters, Kit Cloud Kicker, and you know, I had befriended Phil Harris by virtue of just doing different jobs. We did I Want to Be Like You from Jungle Book, the original. Ooh-be-doo, I want to be like you. Hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
And he was
Louis Prima.
Phil. He was Phil. Barris. Phil Harris. And he was Baloo. He was Baloo. That's him talking. And we became really nice, good friends, you know, and it was very sweet. And I just remember seeing him on TV and my dad getting a big kick out of him, you know. And they said, well, you know, it turned out, and I guess he was 94 or something when they were starting it back up again. And he, God rest his soul, he sounded it. Sounded 94. And he was supposed to have a flirtatious relationship with Sally Struthers' character, Rebecca. And instead it sounded like Grandpa going after his grandma. Hey, what are you doing there, little girl? And so that kind of didn't work.
Yeah.
And for somewhere along the line, I guess I auditioned for it when I did it, and they go, well, okay, you're Baloo now. You're Baloo. And I go, oh, no, I can't. because I had spoken with him. I had lunch with him that day, and he told me they're kicking me out.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
they're kicking me to the curb. And I said, oh, no, they're not. No, they're going to get some likely bastard up there to, do this and that. Then I go back to work and, Jim, would you like to be the likely bastard? And I said, I just can't do it. Can't do it. So Ed Gilbert came up and he did his thing.
But then you did end up doing Bullet.
Yeah, but after that, subsequent to that, years later,
karmically speaking, that was a sort of ode to you for making the right move.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So now I'm Baloo.
Good.
I do all the bears: Smokey, Pooh, Baloo.
Yeah.
There's got to be another bear in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll think of it later.
Gentle Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Oh God, yeah. But anyway, that's my story,
That's great.
and I'm sticking to it. Yeah.
We all often get asked, or are surprised we get asked to do things that we don't think we're capable of, and or we can access things like I did at Orgeron to go, how am I going to come up with a Bayou rat character that doesn't swim into Jim's territory? And I go,
Well, it's a big
by doing a real guy who is unique. And so, but there's some that a lot of us sometimes we just cannot grasp, and we just go, wow, the other person nailed that. I did not have that in my arsenal yet.
Yeah.
But we learn from other people that watching other voice actors like, oh, that's what they're doing to try to access that part of the throat or whatever. And I might not be as good. But because Billy West always said this, right? A bad impression is an original character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have the same. If you do a terrible impression, nobody knows who it is. You got a new character.
You got a new character. Because some people say, oh, Mr. Crocker sounds like Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons. I go, that's on purpose. If I'm going to steal, I'm stealing from the best.
That's
Very
right.
Sure. Revenge is a dish best served cold, Smithers.
Interesting.
Crocker's a little bit more sped up. There's a little bit of Gene Wilder. Sedative! And then there's Richard Dreyfuss, who's on a boat with a shark. And if you blend it all together, it's Timmy Turner Fairies! So it combines all the worst impressions into one original character.
Yeah, I did that with a pretty popular character of mine, Hondo Ohnaka, Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels. And he is he's a little bit of Charles Bronson and a little bit of Yul Brynner.
Oh, wow, two classic
And if
actors.
how do you put? I know, it doesn't
So
make
let
any
it be
sense.
written, so let it be done.
Yeah, exactly. When you believe in Jesus, you're gonna meet him. And he always, he always has that afterlife. And then of course, Moses. I always do Billy Crystal's. Where Billy pops up a lot, I guess. But if you put them both together, you come up with Hondo Ohnaka. I can't imagine the pleasure it must be for you to meet me. And he's very full of himself.
And then, after hours of doing it, you're not thinking about blending those two together. It just comes out.
No,
that way.
it's Hondo. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
I
that
love
point,
it.
It's Hondo.
I marvel at it.
And nobody's ever busted me on it. So No,
I've already told people because you sound like Harry Sherry. You damn right I do.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's a bad Montgomery Burns with Richard Dreyfuss and Gene Wilder. Original character.
And I've been seeing Richard Dreyfuss at some of these conventions lately, so you can go up and harass him with this.
I will. I will. No more panties hanging on the rod. That's from Goodbye Girl by Neil Simon. I actually saw that movie in the theater.
Yeah, I did too.
Marsha Mason, I believe.
Marsha Mason, Neil Simon did it. Who was the guy? Not George. Oh God. Oh, I can't think of the guy.
Was it Stephen Bishop's song? Well, just remember that goodbye never means forever.
Yeah.
Maybe remember goodbye. That was my childhood.
Yeah. My young adulthood, because I'm older than everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My hair is
Pete's
trying.
dying.
My hair is trying, Jim.
There you go. Yeah, me too.
Well, speaking of your childhood, what drove you to want to be a stand-up? Because that was your first really ambition, correct?
After all the controversy, I had Bill Cosby albums. Bill Cosby is a very funny fellow. I had Cheech and Chong albums.
Hope this big reaches. Oh, pucha pesta. That was a wet one.
hey, man, Dave, this is Dave, man. So I listen to that stuff.
Yeah.
I watch Monty Python. I love Bob Newhart show. I love Mary Tyler Moore
Yeah.
show. I love the Carol Burnett show. That was the one that I wanted to be. I wanted to do what Tim Conway and Harvey Korman were doing, but I was a jock in high school. You didn't get into drama if you were a jock. You know, so I just kind of kept it under. But those are the types of shows that made me want to endeavor to become an actor. And stand-up fell out of doing mime in college. And then somebody said, you want to try doing a stand-up thing? And I said, yeah, at Sac State. And I went, oh, yeah, this is fun. It was a way to be liked, be popular, get the girls, kind of. But yeah, so those things were all motivating
Wait, comics
factors.
get the girls too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Comics.
That's pretty good.
Not me. I was pretty nice guy. I was. I would. Who Kevin Spacey would have, or Alec Baldwin would have fired me. Always be closing. You out.
Oh, yeah, right. Always be closing.
But no, those were the motivating factors. Is wanting to be an actor, but without drama, how could I get there? Without taking drama or doing plays or musical theater. Oh, stand-up. Stand-up was a more cool way into the entry. And at that time, they were giving away sitcoms. You know, Drew Carey and Ellen DeGeneres and Roseanne Barr. So I entered in 1984.
Okay.
Dana Carvey. I thought it was a path to Saturday Night Live. Stand-up could be a path to Saturday Night Live.
And that was an ambition for
yeah.
you.
It was, too.
So,
SNL was an ambition for you.
yeah, and it literally happened to Tom Kenny where it came down to 3 people: Rob Schneider, David Spade, and Tom Kenny. They were going to take 2 out of 3.
Wow.
And Tom was bypassed. Went on to do The Edge, Mr. Show, of course, and SpongeBob. And he's never looked back. He's like, no, I don't need that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
He loves doing what he's doing, directing and SpongeBob. And
Oh, sure.
Playing in his band. And
Oh, yeah, he does.
I've learned a lot from that. Stand-up to me was a means to an end. Once I started enjoying my family and my voiceover, and even the cons. I tell people that the conventions are the inversion of a stand-up comic's life. When you are a stand-up on the road, you get in on a Wednesday night because you got to do radio in the morning. The club owner comes and picks you up. You do radio for about an hour and a half. You go home. You're by yourself all day until the show time. So you're trying to keep yourself busy, not being lonely. You do the show. You're at a club for 4 hours, and then you're back being alone again. Show up at a convention. You're on the floor. People love you. You're with them all day. They tell you you're great. Your agent goes, oh, I got a dinner with David Harbour and Sean Young and whoever else. You want to come? Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the inversion. You're around people all day who love you, and you don't have to put on a show. You don't have to battle with appetizers and 2 drink minimums
They're,
and bachelorette parties. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
really the inversion, and I love doing conventions.
Yeah, so do I, yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
And apparently they'll pay you, come to find
They'll
out.
pay you, yeah. You know,
Turns out, that's what I hear.
yeah, and you know, my goal is to have the lines that you and Tom Kenny have one day.
Well, I don't know about that.
We'll see. And Gray Delisle and Tara Strong, but I enjoy it nonetheless. You know, if I have time off, I'll go and wander. I'll buy things for my kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'll meet new artists.
Yeah, I like going to all these different cities. Just seeing a couple of cool things. We've seen any number of things.
Yeah.
What was that Space Needle? That ridiculous thing?
And that was
yeah.
in.
I think it was
No,
Toronto.
we went to this it was Australia.
Oh,
we went
that's
to this
right.
rooftop, the highest building in I want to say Melbourne.
Possibly,
It was like
yeah.
a little bar, overlook. You know, a lot of big cities have that.
Yeah. You could see
tallest
Japan.
building.
Had one too, as I
You
recall.
could squint and see Japan.
Yeah.
It was high. This is a high building.
Man.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if
was
I
really,
mentioned
it was a cool,
high.
really cool place.
Really
up
high.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and that's cool stuff. You know, you get a free trip to look at the world.
Yeah, I haven't been to the international ones yet. I've lobbied, especially for Rocko in Australia and things like that. It might happen, but I certainly am.
Yeah, you would
having
think,
a great
huh?
time. Yeah, you'd think getting around the United States though, and even the small towns. I was in Davenport, Iowa, for a small thing, and it was really cool. 50s industrial, old brick buildings with the painted-on signs that said "Building and Co."
Yes.
And a new
Beach
waterfront.
nut tobacco on the
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
New buildings being refurbished, the waterfront being refurbished, great old architecture, and I love to walk
Yeah,
around.
I love that stuff.
My system when I do a convention is usually we have to be on the floor by 10 a.m. I'll get up at 7 and go either swim laps or just go for like a 2 or 3 mile walk. Get home around 8:30, sleep for an hour, and then I'm ready for the con. But
I'm good at the sleeping part.
Yeah, I love to walk, so
Yeah,
that's
well,
what
that's
I
good.
do. Put on my headphones and I take pictures. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Jim,
Yeah.
as Carlos was saying, comedy was kind of a means to an end
Yeah.
for you. Do you feel the same way about music and being in a band? Do you feel like that was a means to an end, or do you feel like it kind of translated, or what's your opinion on?
Yeah. Well, it definitely was a means to an end. For me, being from Youngstown, I knew guys who. The thing is, you have to leave Youngstown. Just that's it. Nobody is successful who stayed there unless you were born rich, like a couple guys that were there. And you just had to. It was like a training ground. It was like a proving ground. And for me, it was rock and roll. It was music.
Yeah.
And always at plays and always. I was in speech. In high school, I did really well there. But that's how I kind of got out.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to, and then one quick side note, I did really well in speech, and Otterbein College from down by next to Ohio State sent me a scholarship letter. And it was the only day, I'm telling you, of my entire senior year of high school that I brought in the mail. And I caught that letter because if my parents had seen that, I was off to Otterbein.
This is where you're going, Jim.
Yes. Do you know I never went to college? I had to quit school during the Depression to feed the family. And now you get a free ride and you're not going to take it. It was like, that was a conversation I did. I told him like 10 years later.
Did you ever keep the letter or you got rid of it?
No, I got rid of it. I burned it.
Like a draft card.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have to do that because my number was 165. I was the last. This is so riveting. I was the last group of 18-year-olds who were eligible for the draft.
Wow.
And so I went up there with my best buddy, Kenny, and I think he was like number 65 or something, but I was 168. Yeah. And the general rule of thumb was that they stopped by the time they got to the 150th number, they were onto a fresh crop of 18-year-olds, so you were probably okay.
You did not have to play the Hunger Games.
No. Yes, exactly right. And I would have loved Canada, but I would have gone.
You would have been improv with Cheech and Chong and at a strip club. That's where they started.
Yeah. But no,
you got out with music.
I would have probably gone, but yeah, I got out with music. I really did.
music.
Moved to New Orleans, and I always wanted to do that anyway.
Oh wow.
And I had a weird career trajectory. I knew I always wanted to do what I have done, the voices, that I always knew. And but I always wanted to be able to say that I was a deckhand on a riverboat like Mark Twain did.
Wow.
And so that was just, you really have to go to New Orleans. And then when I got there, I thought, wow, Mardi Gras floats. And there was a place off St. Charles called Royal Artists. And my girlfriend at the time had an audition to go there and do the float, the titles for all of the floats, because there's a tractor that pulls them, no longer horse-drawn. A tractor pulls them, and it's the name of the, whale of a tale or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the name of the float. And she was auditioning to get that job. And all these people were sitting around from Delgado Art College, and they had these big portfolios, these big, poster-sized things. And I go, so what are you guys doing? Oh, well, we're kind of auditioning I want to design a Mardi Gras floats. I said, oh, wow, yeah, I guess somebody does have to do that shit, right?
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it, yeah. Okay, well, I want to do that then, too. Okay, good. And so I went in, I borrowed some typing paper, and I just sketched some stuff. And I felt really good about it because these guys are going in there, and they're all dressed in black because you have to dress in black when you're an art student. And none of them got the job, but I did.
That's great.
Me and my little typing papers, and I can't even remember what the hell I drew.
So organic.
Yeah, it was organic. That's for sure.
Organic. There was a boxing legend from Youngstown, Ohio, named Kelly Pavlik, the White Ghost, who beat Jermaine Taylor, and I bought one of his Affliction shirts. So I had that connection. With a guy that stood heroic for Youngstown.
Yes,
folks.
well, him and Boom Boom.
Yeah, Boom Mancini. That's right.
He's a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
In fact, he owes me a podcast.
Come on, Ray.
That's right. Come on. Hey, let me tell you something. Everything is, let me tell you something.
Tell you something. He's still got it.
Yeah,
got his faculties.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, those guys took some punishment for sure.
Ooh,
the old
yeah.
style fights.
Oh,
The
yeah.
15 rounders back in the day.
Now, when you guys did Cat Dog, do you ever record in the studio at the same time?
Yeah, we always did.
Yeah, a
and
lot of
it
times.
was a place off, I want to say Victory Boulevard as it runs towards Costco.
Yeah.
To the right, a little studio. Victory and Verdugo, near there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of it either.
I can't remember.
But I'd always show up, and I'd always had a big, gigantic lunch. So I'd go lay on the floor while everybody was
Yeah.
doing that. And I was like, and I remember Tom goes, "Old Uncle Jim over there, he's getting plumb tuckered. He's letting these youngins get it out of their system, and
Yeah.
he's going to come up here and close the show." And and it sounded like Rex Allen, one of those. There's that pesky old hedgehog.
Old Lobo.
Yeah.
Well, old Lobo's asleep in the corner.
Well, somebody found himself a skunk. Good night, Irene. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Lobo's going to have to take a bath down by the river tomorrow.
Yeah.
Me and Cedric are always doing old Lobo. But yeah, you guys, that was a workout because Cat Dog was always in an argument. And it always got heightened. And so that was a lot of work for you guys. And then we waltzed in, "Oh, yeah, I'm one of the greasers, whatever. We're going to get you, Cat Dog."
Yeah.
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 We
and
would
then
just waltz
Maria
in and do our
Bamford,
little...
and you had to wait until her voice lowered so you could hear it.
Yes.
Because
Maria
it was
Bamford
so high.
doing
And
screech.
it was called Screech. That's what she did.
Yeah.
God bless her. Yeah.
But
well,
we recorded together.
Yeah.
And watching Dwight Schultz work. It was really great. It's like, this guy from the A-Team, and he was very good. I didn't know. It was like a first time seeing an actor who had a show just deliver.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to actors that get in there going, what are my lines? Who am I acting with?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was just crushing it. So that was a great time. I remember Jess Harnell came in for a couple of episodes as well. And yeah, Billy West did like a Cary Grant type of character too.
Yes, he did.
I forgot his name, but he was like that.
Yes. I can't think of that guy's name either.
Your
Let us know in the
choices.
comments which character that is.
Billy's
Let us know.
the choices of Bill and Jim and Tom are just something I learned from. You know, I didn't think I had that Rolodex or that bank that you guys had, but it taught me. You know, because Billy's like, yeah, I watch Turner Classic Movies. I'm watching all these things to pull from, and that was a good like learning point for me. Like, oh yeah, I got to start getting outside my comfort zone of just this and that, and go back and look at old things and pay attention to neighbors. But a
Yeah.
lot of my characters, especially the Spanish ones, come from my mom's accent. All of Jorge Gutierrez's work, like
Do you speak
Grandpapi
Spanish?
and General Posada.
Si yo estoy estudiando español cada día, estoy con Duolingo. I'm learning every day. My parents stopped when I was 5. The myth back then is they won't be able to learn English. They'll have funny accents, which was completely untrue. But Christian
Yeah.
Lanz is somebody who's completely Americanized, but from Mexico and perfect Spanish. But there was
Grandpapi and General Posada.
from Book of Life was basically a woman named Raquel, who was,
That was
the
a
grand.
woman.
Yeah, Raquel. She would smoke, and the 2 girls, her granddaughters, would be at our house, and she'd go,
Shelly, Dana, you have to come home now for dinner.
that was her voice. And so, the characters we met growing up,
Yeah.
they were there. You just pluck them.
Oh yeah. Well, that I've said it before. My Aunt Grace, God rest her soul, she was Lieutenant Spinelli on Chippendale's Rescue Ranger, and she was. Jim, it's like I was telling your mother the other day, because she's my little sister. I don't know if you knew that, but she's my little sister. Your mother's my sister. Anyway, so anyhow, that was her thing. And that was how, and so she sounded like she was kind of a punch drunk, but I thought I was in the ring, and so she was Lieutenant Spinelli. And my,
But it's fun watching you do her. I think you just become her. You're not.
Yeah.
You can see. I can see another person behind that.
oh yeah, well, it was Aunt Grace.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And I think whenever you do a voice or a character of the opposite sex, it throws another layer of invisibility,
Yeah.
or mystery, shall we say?
Yeah, Denzel Crocker's mother is basically a bad Julia Childs. Denzel, mommy needs your help in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
Okay, mother, why don't you hop on that rocket and blast off? That's no way to talk to your mother, Denzel. But it's a bad Julia Child.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny when people don't bust you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Here's one that if you watched Inside Out, I played the Brazilian
Yes.
helicopter pilot. Come, fly with me, Cachinha, which is basically, yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yes.
Fear inside the dad's head is, the foot is down, the foot is, sir, I'm detecting a high-level assassin, is basically Garcia from Reno 911.
Yes.
Hey, you get down there, we're going to take you down to the cell, okay? It's the same guy. Same guy. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Now you know. I'm fired.
You got to talk a little bit about that Taco Bell campaign because
You
that
do.
was
Yeah.
iconic.
And I think it was
That
while
was-
I was working on Cat Dog.
Yeah, I've got it right there. Yes, it was.
97.
I think so.
1997. And it's the classic.
I remember
right?
that day when you drove up. You were in a what was it? A Volkswagen one day. Next day was a Rolls.
Yeah.
I go. Wait a minute.
You were the one with the limo. with
Wait
the
a minute.
thing
Yo
on the-
quiero my ass, Taco
Carlos
Bell.
is sitting in my limo. What the hell is?
Yes.
Sorry. Looking good, Valentine. Feeling good, Winthrop. I drove to our good friend Terry Berland, who at that time was on Olympic and Monday. Let's say this is a fable, but I remember it being Friday at 4 o'clock, driving from the valley. 4 words on a piece of
Yeah.
paper, a waste of time, driving all the way, and it's going to take me forever to get back home.
Yeah.
And I started, I went, yo quiero. She goes, no. You know, Terry.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do it. I've heard it all. Everybody's enjoying it. Just do your own voice and just give me something a little deeper. Oh, stupid. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Just do it a little deeper, a little wispier. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Leave me alone. Bye. Stupid waste of time.
Jeez, oh
And
man.
Same thing. Demo.
Yeah.
They called me in to make a demo. And the direction was make it like this is your barrio, like this is your hood, and you mean business. Psst, yo quiero Taco Bell. All right. Good. Hey, we like that for the demo. See you. Bye.
Oh boy.
And that was it. And then
Bum-ba-da-bum-bum,
spinning
bum-ba-da-bum.
headlines. Campaign. That's how
Yeah.
that came about. It was just they had tried so many people who did the classic sort of Mel Blanc, Speedy Gonzalez,
Yeah.
yo quiero
Oh,
Taco
yeah.
Bell. And at that
Yeah,
time,
yeah, that would have gotten old.
yeah, and so it was playing against type. It was a small dog. It was a deep voice. Gidget, female dog, because you couldn't show genitals on TV, much like Spuds McKenzie. But yeah, playing against
Oh,
what is a
wow.
logarithm? You know, and it worked. It worked. So it was just lucky. And it's a voice that I think a lot of us voice actors could have done. I happen to have Latino or South American background. I'm able to pronounce. I also did the spots in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't this boat go any faster? Este nave no puede ir más rápido. So yeah, I was able
That's
to
so cool.
at least access the ability to do a Latino accent and get it done. But the voice itself it's okay. But
Yeah,
it's
it
just
sure is.
It's just I often tell people that what makes our voices seem more disparate than they actually are is the animation and the full rendering
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. So like I said, like
Spyro's right here. Watch out for Nasty Nork. And
Yeah.
Rocko's right. Hello, Spunky. Watch out for that mop.
and
Yeah, Stevie.
Winslow's kind of right there, too.
Yeah.
But if you see them separately rendered, it makes it seem like the range
helps,
is
yeah.
that much.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder doesn't think it's all that different, right?
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly.
you're saying? Yeah.
it's the same guy. Yeah,
Yeah. Wait, did he just say something about Taco Bell?
that's songs in the key of Carlos. I know that. I
Yeah,
know that.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
But yeah, we are aided and helped so much by animators and music and design.
Yeah.
It makes us look. We are talented. We have vocal range, but that really expands it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
To see
Yeah.
a different shape of a character. And Crocker's they're from the same. They're all kind of right here. You know, it's
Ed Orgeron's the only one.
Except for that
But
guy.
I did say that Ed Orgeron, because they had me do him higher because it was too low for me. I said, it sounds like Red Fox. You big dummy. I'm going to give you 5 across your
Yes,
lips.
it does. Yes,
it's
it
right
does.
in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had my uncle Sam, God rest his soul, because I've often said that too. I mean, if you do a perfect impression of somebody nobody knows, it's a new character.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Sam, he talked like this.
Great.
And he said, James Igolis. And there was some guy he went to school with it, but he'd like calling me James, and that reminded him of James Igolis. And so, you know, I grew up eventually, and they said that they needed a a bear, and they needed an ogre. So Uncle Sam was an ogre one time. I forget, it was an after-school special a long, long time ago. Just like my first tugboat captain, Léonce Leblanc, he was from down there in Louisiana like that.
Yeah.
Well, he was Leatherhead from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was a Cajun alligator villain.
Yeah.
And so Léonce Leblanc, he sounded just like that. And I said, well, now you going to be a villain, yeah. And I always wondered if because it wasn't that long afterward I moved out here and started doing this, if his grandkids were sitting there, hey, Grandpa, come in here. You know this, you ever see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? You know this gator over here? Because it was him.
Yeah. And
You know?
again, you're accessing something that you know so well. And I often tell people who say, I don't do a voice. I go, I bet you if you have a dog, you do a voice. Because especially if it's a puppy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You go, Pataka.
You're going to go on the rug. You don't go pee-pee on the rug. There's something about that dog's face that elicits that voice from you. And it's deep. It's deeper than your voice. Why am I making that sound? What is it about this dog's face that's making me go, you go, you just automatically.
Yeah, and it was a Saint Bernard, which is even weirder. See, because they don't sound like that. Everybody knows they have, I guess, a Swiss accent, whatever the hell that's.
So yeah, it's fascinating. So you and I and probably most of the voiceover people grew up learning how to tap into things that were really interesting to us. Because California is such a neutral accent.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was so lucky to have my mom who had Russian friends, like I said, and Scottish friends and whatever. I was something inside of all of us was just bleeding to like, I want to be somebody else. My own voice is kind of
Yeah.
You know, it's like so much more fun to do that. So
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, have you ever, a lot of voiceover people I know have got musical backgrounds, singing backgrounds. Did that ever appeal
no,
to
like
you?
you
Did
and
that grab
Tom
you?
and Rob and Jess, no, not to that extent. I'll literally have musical Randy Nagels of the world that like, I'll point at you, Carlos, when you're supposed to start, okay? Because the dot is not working with you.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty good at karaoke, and yes,
Eventually,
go.
you got to sing as Billy Crystal, you know. Da, 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 da.
and I have to sing and I have to get it done. I need to be massaged a little bit more than you and Tom and Billy and Debbie Derryberry and the musical people. But yeah, I've got a
By
pretty good
massage,
voice.
that mean like 2 more
Yeah,
beers?
2 more beers.
Okay.
A little bit lower.
A little bit low.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit lower now. But yeah. I can sing. I bow down to the people that really know the timing and hear an inflection in a note that I didn't hear. No, it goes when I want to go. I was like, I heard when I want to go. I didn't hear I want to go, but there it is. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So things like that they'll have to point out for me. But once we're parrots, right? We hear the reference enough times. You know, you're going to be able to sing it. So yeah, I guess I'm musically inclined. I've been known to, you know, Cedric and I would do colleges, and I'd go up and sing my Sublime. I don't practice Santeria, thinking I'm good, and then
You don't
Cedric
practice
takes the mic and-
Santeria? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
Cedric grabs the mic. I've been really trying. Let's get it on. Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's me, and then there's Cedric Yarbrough. A little bit different.
Okay.
And John DiMaggio and all you guys that really have the musical background take it that much higher. But no, I sing for a lot of characters, and I get my help from the musical guys, and I make it happen for sure.
Yeah, I love it when the character sings. It's a lot of fun. You know, and I developed that, and I knew, well, just from being a kid myself, you know, the song comes on and you get up, you start marching around the room. But my 2 older girls, they're both middle-aged now practically. But sure enough, you'd be watching a cartoon and everybody's happy and Casper's doing this or something and blah, blah, blah. And now the song comes on. They would both stand up and march around the room and dance.
Yeah.
They would, the kids, so, there's a song. Okay, boom, dee boom, dee boom, dee boom, dee boom, dee boom, dee boom. And then they're off.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can always tell anytime you have a song coming up, well, we got a song. Okay, good. To me, that's good news.
Yeah.
You know, because it just means it's going to get a bump.
Yeah.
The show will get a bump.
I remember Alfalfa singing in The Little Rascals. The object of my affection can turn my complexion from white to rosy red. Red. You get mad. It's like, but that song stuck in my head.
Wow, I can't remember it. I can't believe it. How could you remember it? And I don't.
Oh, my hand tells me that you're near. It was just something that landed with me.
Yeah.
Popeye, when his sailor buddy comes and all of his hitting on him. What a man! Blah 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 blah. And I think it's because my brother and I would repeat.
That was a good trumpet.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's certain songs that are indelible. All the Jungle Book songs, like I want to be like you.
Yeah, very much so.
I saw the Jungle Book at the General Cinemas. That was as a kid at the Sun Valley Mall, and I was just like, wow. And then music does. It moves you, and it lands with you. But
yeah,
you guys, I love watching real, true musicians hit a song because they can hit it right away. And me, I'll take a little work, but I'll get there.
That's right. Well, that's all. Everybody's very, hello.
Hello, door. It's a ghost.
Come in.
Did you order a pizza?
Hi.
How are you guys doing? Good.
Hi.
Leonard Maltin. Hello.
Feel free. Sorry, there's just a stool. There's a chair there and a chair there.
I love your hair.
Have to apologize.
I love your hair.
We're being photobombed by a famous movie critic.
Yeah?
Talk about me like that.
Yeah?
Oh, shucks. Well, make yourself at home.
But there's two people that I wanted to ask you about your time working together, and the first one is Seth MacFarlane, obviously Mr. Weed on Family Guy, and you must have known him because that was in the inaugural season of Family Guy when you played that character, and so he must have been relatively young. What was he like to work with?
Very busy, very overwhelmed with the Fox execs. Butch Hartman was the original voice of Mr. Weed. I remember going to a studio on Olympic in Purdue, and I walked in there and they say, we want you, because of my ethnic background, to try to play Mr. Weed, a Portuguese person. I said, well, I don't have Portuguese, but I have Latin America, Argentina. That's where my parents are from. Pretty similar if you're talking about Brazilian Portuguese versus the real motherland of Portugal. But I did something like, you're fired. But so I was Mr. Weed, but Seth was so young.
You sound just like him.
Thank you. Seth was so young and so overwhelmed and so trying to get the show launched that there was never much of a relationship beyond just the recording. You know, Butch and he had worked at Hanna-Barbera together, but it was fun to watch him handle the pressure. And that first endeavor with Family Guy did not get picked up.
Yeah.
Got
that
dropped.
show got canceled a few times.
Yeah, and then TNT got it.
Yeah.
And then Fox went, oh, we like that. Can we have it back? And so that's the way that happened. So there was not much time for real interaction. It was just get in there and do the job.
And I read something too that you were kind of shocked when they got rid of that character.
Yeah,
Is that
you
true?
know, it's that classic. You read the script and he chokes and he dies. And it's like, does this
Oh,
really
wait a
have this
minute.
animation?
But
Yeah, and it was
so
it was
next week I'm off, huh?
Yeah, it was the classic. Hey, we'll be bringing you back, and it never really happened until more recently with Jackie and Christine, the two casting directors who now cast. They've been bringing me in quite a bit, but it took us several years for that to happen. So I was like, oh, he was Mr. Weed, and now he's gone. But it was a good first full season, and yeah.
And that's an iconic character, you know? Like, At least to me, I'm
you're fired.
a big fan of Family Guy. And yeah, that's like, even
We
though.
have a new secret weapon. His name is Guillermo. Yeah. Guillermo. Softball player in a wheelchair.
I really like that guy, that character of yours. I mean, he really.
He's nice, and he has spawned off into Wandissimo, who's a little bit more telenovela. I love you, Wanda. Don't get rid of Cosmo and run away with me. So again, another thing that sort of dances in the same area.
Okay.
With just a little bit more
Was
flair.
that telenovela? What was that?
Telenovela.
Telenovela, yes. Yeah, I used to like pop in on there, and the acting is so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's wonderful.
You have double-crossed me for the last time.
Yes,
How
yes.
dare you? My son, he is not yours. Oi!
Yeah, I know. It could not be more over the top.
Yeah, I love
It's
it.
in fact, that'd be a good one to do. Give it the old Frank Welker. I think who else did that? Put just take the footage and then just do new lines over it.
Yes.
It's such wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Can come from that. Can. But yeah.
Do you think it's time for a voice swap?
Oh yeah, we do this thing.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
And
Oh, so
hopefully-
you know. So,
hopefully I
okay.
can handle it.
All right.
So we each do lines from a revered character, and we tried our best to make it work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Jim will do, say, a line from Winnie the Pooh, and then you'll repeat it as Rocko, and then vice versa. One of your characters, say, the Taco Bell Chihuahua, and Jim will do it as Tigger, for example.
Okay. So the first one is going to be, I'll say something as Rocko, and then Jim will give his spot-on version of it. Is that how?
As one of his characters.
But only as one of my characters.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, yes.
All right, so...
Let's do Rocko.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, Heifer. We must stop this ceaseless sucking.
Oh, my goodness, Heifer? Who?
Oh my goodness, Heifer, we must stop this ceaseless sucking.
Oh my goodness, Heifer. We must stop this ceaseless sucking.
How about Taz?
Oh my goodness, Heifer. We must stop this ceaseless sucking.
I think it transfers
Little
over
bonus.
flawlessly.
Yeah, you can almost see him. Okay, well, here's one for you. Darkwing Duck, and character of your choice.
Okay.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
All right. Okay, let's do Walden from Wow Wow Wubsy. I am the terror that flaps in the night.
It sounds pretty. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared.
It's actually creepier because he's nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't usually do this, but I have a request.
Okay.
Less
How about
trustworthy.
Yo quiero Taco Bell
Yeah.
with Pooh?
Oh, yes. Oh, yo quiero Taco Bell and honey.
Nothing to worry about.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Pass the honey, please.
Oh, I was supposed to do it, right?
Yeah, you were supposed to be
Yo
somebody.
quiero Taco Bell. Oh, what is a logarithm?
I don't know what a loco rhythm is. It sounds loco to me.
I have no idea what. Okay, now I'll.
And then we have to do
Pandemonium.
Robotnik. We have to do like something different than we usually do. Let's do a Robotnik line.
Okay. Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog. Get that hedgehog!
It's got to be Crocker.
It's got to be.
Get that hedgehog!
Yes.
That's
yes.
perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, man, that's
you
good
for
stuff,
doing
buddy.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Carlos Alazraqui, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd went wild. Before we go, is there anything we should tout?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you can always look me up on my social media at Carlos Alazraqui on TikTok and Instagram is where I announce all my cons. I got one coming up, Smoky Mountain this weekend, depending on when this airs, August 10 and 11. I got the Rhode Island Comic Con coming up later. There's a Nostalgia Con, but it's all going to be on my Instagram and my social medias at Carlos Alazraqui. You'll know when.
Be there or be square. Actually, just be there. Don't be square.
Oh, and watch Exploding Kittens on Netflix.
Yes.
And also Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Yes.
And for my daughter, Star Trek Prodigy, my daughter Riley Alazraqui plays Rock Talk on Star Trek Prodigy, so check it out. Plug, plug, plug.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so
That's
much for
what we're
being
here for.
That was great.
Thanks, man.
Thank
you. Wonder Bar.
Thank you. Yeah, so
Appreciate it, buddy.
Good to sit down and talk and just listen and hear your stories.
All right, everybody. That was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Thank you very much for joining us, Carlos. That was a great episode. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are closing in on 80,000 subscribers. So thank you all for everybody who subscribed, and a special thank you for everybody who subscribed to Patreon. Of course, you can get bonus content there. You can get additional episodes and even extended episodes. So please be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well. And of course, you can find the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Once again, Jim Cummings, Carlos Alazraqui, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Hooray.
Yeah.
And it's just that easy.